Hello everyone, my name is Julia. Welcome to the Julia the Engineer channel. In the previous lessons, we've worked with ready-made data available online. Today we take the next step. We will create our own shapefile from scratch. This is an important moment because this is where real work begins. To create a shapefile, I go to the catalog. First, I create a new project for lesson 3, just like we did before. I save it in the course folder. Now I open the folder for lesson 3, and this is where I will create the shapefile. To create a shapefile, I right-click, select New, and then choose Shapefile. On the right side, the geoprocessing pane appears. This is where we define parameters. Let's move it here so it's easier to see. The first field is the file location. The second field is the file name. Let's give it a name. In this field, we select the geometry type. Let's choose polygon. Here we can specify a template dataset. This means if you already have an existing dataset with predefined attribute fields, you can use it as a template. But in our case, we are creating a shapefile from scratch, so we don't need this option. Here we can enable the Z value. This represents elevation. If this option is enabled, the data becomes three-dimensional. If your workflow requires elevation data and the shapefile does not support Z values, some tools may not work correctly. The next very important field is the coordinate system. You should always define it. You can either select it manually or import it from an existing dataset. I strongly recommend never creating data without the coordinate system. We will cover coordinate systems in detail later. For now, just remember, this field is important. The alias field is optional. It is just an alternative name. Geoprocessing environments are also optional. We don't need them right now. Let's move to the next tab, but we won't go deeper for now. Otherwise, this lesson would be endless. So what have we defined? We specified the file location, the name, the geometry type, and the coordinate system. Remember, each shapefile can contain only one geometry type. You cannot mix points, lines, and polygons in a single shapefile. Each geometry type requires a separate shapefile. Now we click OK. Great, we see a green check mark. That means the shapefile was created successfully. Here is our shapefile in the catalog, but if we open it in File Explorer, we will see multiple files. A shapefile is actually a set of files. All of them must always stay together. You cannot move them separately. That is why it is often better to manage data through the catalog rather than through the file system, because here the shapefile is treated as a single object. If someone sends you a shapefile and you see multiple files in the folder, remember, the shapefile is the entire set, not just the .shp file. Now let's define attribute fields. I right-click the shapefile, go to Data Design, and Open Fields. This table is similar to Excel. Here we store attribute data. Some default fields already exist. They are required by ArcGIS, but we can add our own fields. Let's create a field called Name. I right-click and select New Field. We must choose a data type. For names, we use text. We can also define field length. Avoid making fields unnecessarily large. It may increase file size. We can also create fields using geoprocessing tools. Search for Add Field. Select the input shapefile enter the field name and choose the type. Here we have more data types available than in the table interface. Let's create another field category area. Choose a suitable type. Click OK. If we see a green check mark, the field was created successfully. Click Save to update the table. We can also delete fields. After making changes, we must either click Save to apply or discard to cancel. Now let's add the shapefile to the map. We can drag it directly, but it's better to use the Add Data button. To start drawing, we open the Edit tab and click Create. The editing panel appears. We select our layer. Now we can draw polygons. There are different tools: free drawing, autocomplete, rectangles, circles, and more. Let's draw a polygon. To finish, click Finish or press F2. Now let's assign attributes. Open the Attributes panel, select the object and enter a value in the Name field. For example, forest. Click Apply. Now let's display labels. Right-click the layer and enable labeling. The label appears automatically from the Name field. Let's create another object, for example, a circle. Set its attribute, circle. All objects can be viewed in the attribute table. This table shows all features and their data. We can select objects either from the table or directly on the map. Selection works both ways. If you select an object on the map, it will be highlighted in the table. If you select it in the table, it will be highlighted on the map. Remember, a GIS object is not just geometry, it is also data. And working with data is just as important as working with shapes. That's it for today. In this lesson, we created a shapefile, defined fields, and created our first features. I hope this lesson was useful for you. See you in the next video. Bye for now.